Beautiful, we're on. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Coach Crawf with Friends. We are here at Tanglewood Estate and we've got my entire friends and family looking at me. So it's a beautiful moment. The people who I'm about to introduce, we'll call them up onto the stage. Just so you know, this is going to be a short and sharp conversation, 30 minutes. So we're going to get right into the deep end quickly. But first person I want to introduce is a man who I met 4 years ago, and he's someone who really inspires me with his level of vulnerability. He always brings out the best in me. We're going to talk about friends today, but he brings out the best. He helped me midway through last year. I stepped away from a business that I'd been creating for a couple of years and helped me to step into, I guess something that aligns with my dreams and where I want to take my life. So this man is a soccer professional, some would say, a physio, and is mental in the running world. So without further ado, Connor Scott, welcome to the stage, sir. Give him a round of applause. Connor.
Hello, my friend.
Hi, mate. Great to have you on the show.
Have we got to
You got a little mic there?
talk into this end?
Yeah. So you can just put that on. You guys can hear me, yeah? Beautiful. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Keen to get stuck in. And next up to the stage, I met this man at the start of this year. Now, Connor, so last year, probably the start of last year, me and Connor were catching up and working through that decision to step away from the monkey movement. And then, so I sort of reached out to Connor and, we were able to work through that and talk about that openly. And then I think sort of with this guy, maybe I repaid the favor in that way. So, I caught up with this guy at the start of this year and, we spoke about his potential and what was within him to create in the community and also just as a person, who he wanted to be. And to see this man and what he's done within the community, but also what he's done personally and who he is becoming along that journey is, really amazing. So this man's name is Matt LaFontaine. Laff, welcome to the show, sir. Yeah, Laff.
Thank you. Swivel the mics.
Hey, bro.
Is that how it's going?
Yeah, you're going to have to swivel.
I'm so nervous.
It's all right. I'm nervous too.
Thanks.
So Laff did one of my programs. Well, Laff did Base Camp, the original Base Camp, where I had sort of group of 10 people, and it was all about connecting these people to their potential and doing that through breath work and some practices where, we're looking into beliefs and values and connecting and sharing openly. And so it's been beautiful to see your journey. Laff, if you don't know this man, he just completed something ridiculous, 3,000 pull-ups in a day, and he's actually gone for the world record of most pull-ups in a month, world record. So, it's a privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So, boys, thank you for being here. This will be very much just conversation. So let's rip in. I asked ChatGPT, what are some good topics to talk about when you got all your friends and family in front of you? And they said climate change.
Shit.
They said Donald Trump and Bitcoin.
Expert in all things.
Which one would you like to tackle first? Bitcoin just hit an all-time high. Yeah.
It's thanks to Donald Trump and his lack of care for climate change.
Yeah. Good response from the crowd early.
And that wraps us up.
Yeah. No, I don't know about Donald Trump. Like, I don't think he's a good person at all. But I think at the moment maybe he'll stabilise the world and the economy right now. But who knows?
Yeah, not me.
Is there something else we could talk about?
Yeah, we'll talk about something else.
In our 4 years of friendship, we have never spoken about any of those three things.
No. Maybe climate change, but
Yeah.
we're not going to solve that today. The three topics that I had to talk about, the first one was friends. And I thought it'd be obviously a beautiful topic to talk about with all of my friends being here today. And so we might as well dive in. If you have been listening to the podcast, usually they go for 90 minutes. Today, 30. So we'll cut it down. We'll get straight to the point rather than going on tangents. And the first topic is friends and what makes a good one. So love you to start us off.
Yeah, you sent this through in the group chat yesterday or today, and I found it a lot easier to think about things that don't make a good friend than do make a good friend. Like for my friends, I get so much from each and every one of them, but I never get the same thing from all of them. And there are so many things that make a good friend. There's so many things that you bring to my friendship, that Laff brings to mine, that Dill brings to mine, that kind of complete me and who I am. And there's so many different things, but what I find is that it's easier to get to see people whose values I don't align with and actions that I don't see as someone I want to be, or that take my energy away, and they're just people that I don't want to be friends with, versus what you guys bring to me, and what you manage to make me feel to be my friend.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What traits or what characteristics do you see in your friends that you grab onto and you're like, fuck, that's a good friend there?
I feel like all of my friends have a special ability. Like, day to day, I want to get better each and every day. And all of my friends also want to see me get better each and every day. And the people that I don't align with are the people that I feel have, whether it's envy or those types of traits that kind of want to bring you back a peg. I know, like in Australia and the same in the UK, you have that tall poppy syndrome of people wanting to bring you back down. I think my friends want to see me succeed as much as I want to succeed. And that comes in many different forms. Like, I'll speak about Dill for a sec, but I've never met a human being like Dill who just has this ability to make you feel like you're on top of the world and that you're invincible, and that will back you no matter what, like tooth and nail, like will go in for you. When I think of you, I think of that someone that I know I can pick up the phone and have a 3-hour-long conversation with and talk my thoughts through, who will validate what I'm feeling and support where I am and where I'm going and offer suggestions. And then Matt, for instance, Matt's there, like if I want to go for dinner and I want to have that chat and I want to get that support that I desperately need, like Matt's doing that. So that's what I think Geordie was saying before about, and maybe you're going to go into this, but like different people offer different things, and yeah, the one common denominator is that everyone wants to see me succeed as much as I would like to succeed.
Beautiful guy. Yeah, really well said. Laff, thoughts?
I think I mean, you hit the nail on the head, really. I think the first thought that came to mind when this question came up for me was it's a feeling. It's a feeling that you get. It's this level of comfortability and understanding of who you are as a person. And I think that the energy you put out is the energy you attract to. So I feel like one thing that I've found to be really important over the last year, one thing I've noticed is if you put on a bit of a mask and you're being someone that you're not, being someone unauthentic, you're going to attract people that align with that version of yourself. The importance of authenticity shows that the people will gravitate towards you for who you are. And so I feel like that's why it's really important to be yourself and watch, the people that align with you come into your life. But for me, my first thought was it's the people who bring out the best in me and that I can be my truest self. I'm talking like act like a kid, because I love acting like a kid. I think that's something we might touch on throughout this conversation. But if I can just be silly and childish and have fun and yet still be able to have a deep conversation, I think it's so important to have a balance of both. And so for a lot of my friends in my life now, I feel like I have that balance between both. But I think ultimately it comes down to people or my friends that want to see me succeed as much as I want to succeed and will help and support me in doing that. But just allow me to be me and not feel like I'm getting judged or criticised for that. Yeah.
Beautiful, boys. Yeah. Love it. I think we're so hard on ourselves, and when we do have friends who lift us up, like I've got friends here today that like I can just pinpoint all these different times where maybe I've been at one of my lowest points in my life, and then like I've got friends who I can turn to and they'll wrap their arm around me and just like nothing's the end of the world. Like when I'm in their support and their arms, like nothing's the end of the world. It's like, no, we'll sort it out. It's all right to be in this low or this dip. And yeah, I think we are so hard on ourselves. So when we do have people who inspire us, and like you said, kind of like getting different things from different friends. Like I've got a different bunch of like different groups of friends here, and what I get from my mates who I've had for years and years like is different to what I get from mates who I'm now meeting, and they're both like beautiful and both really special. And yeah, like these lads who I went to primary school with, like honestly, I think they're who I really turn to when things are really tough. And I know that they'll always support me and have my back. And then like I look at like something like you boys, you've inspired me a lot this year. But then again, they inspire me in different ways. So yeah, I think there's no like one size fits all to a friend. But yeah, I love what you said. It's like, I think you know how people make you feel. And at the end of the day, if you're surrounding yourself with people who lift you up and allow you to be that version of you that you're put on this planet to become, like, I think that's where it's at. Love it.
Bang on.
Oh, also, any crowd input, you're allowed to like have your 2 cents as well. We were thinking of having Dad up here. If anyone watched like the footy show, have like a
like the front bar.
Yeah, no, like the front bar. Yeah. Just have like a side man or whatever. Yeah. So this question, I'm just going to read it because I want to get it right. What is one experience that's changed your life, and what's been a philosophy that you've embedded into your life as a result? We're in. We've got half an hour. We're already halfway in. So we go straight into the deep end. So what is an experience that's changed the trajectory of your life? And as a result, what's a philosophy that you've embedded into your life?
I'll let you go first, mate.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Is your thing on?
I don't know. Is it? Hello? Is it? Sick. I'm pretty loud anyway, so it should be fine. I'm going to make this sort of more relatable to you. I think it's going to be, and it matches with my life heavily as well. But when we sat down and met for the first time, I still remember down at Mornington Park, we caught up. This was for the base camp that we did at the start of the year, and we sat down. Actually, before we sat down, you gave me the longest hug I've ever had in my life, and I was like, "This guy's pretty cool." And we just sat down. We did some breath work, and then we had a chat. And I just remember talking to you about, I feel so empowered and inspired to make a positive impact within the community, but I just didn't know how I could do that. At the time, I was like, I knew it was there. I just didn't know how it looked. And it was so great to have that conversation, because what that led to was me doing the base camp with you, and ultimately it was the catalyst for me starting Safe Space. And I feel like if we didn't sit down and have that conversation, I don't think that would have ever happened. And the one thing that I really took away from you personally was that with anything that we want to do in our life, it's ultimately up to us to make the decision and put in the work. You can ask for help here and there. What you did was you just sort of gave me that little bit of support and that little nudge to go, like, it's in you, like, you can do it. But it was ultimately up to me for how that was going to look. And so I think that's a big part of what is going on in the community and what is going on in my life. I think ultimately stems from that sit down, and I guess a big take, I don't know about a big philosophy or takeaway.
What philosophies are
realistically, I think it comes back to the friendship aspect of, you just wanted to see the best in me, and you were just giving me that support that I needed. And I think my takeaway is that if there is anything that we do want to do in our lives, it is up to us to put in the work and do it. You can ask for help here and there, but sometimes just being a good friend is just being that, that hug for when you need it, or that little nudge to say, like, just come on, get this done. Like, this will, you'll be better for it. But yeah, I think it doesn't have to take much. Just a little bit of support. And I think that was the start of, like I said, some amazing things that have happened in my life this year. And now I'm so grateful that we are great mates from it. So I'm glad that we caught up that one day. It was a great experience. So thank you.
Good stuff, bro.
Yeah,
my pleasure. Yeah, as I said, it's been amazing to see your growth and what you've put out there into the community. For those who don't know, Laff created something called Safe Space. And it started down the beach where he just invited people to come along and hang out. And then now he's been having people come into Common Folk in Mornington on a Monday and Wednesday night and just come and hang. And he runs a session all surrounded around connection. And what I've heard from people who've been as well is just that's their center point throughout the week, where they can just come and be themselves and hang out. So it's really beautiful to see, bro, what you've done. So well done.
Thank you.
Connor, experience that's changed the trajectory of your life and philosophy that you've taken away.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest, the moment I think I felt my life shift was in 2018, and that was when I lost my auntie. And she passed away when she was 42 from alcohol-induced liver disease. And I remember the visceral kind of feeling that came with that. And I don't know if anyone's ever felt this, but it was genuine heartbreak. You could feel as if something in your chest had opened up. And that led me down to probably the hardest 2 years of my life. And those 2 years took me through a journey with mental ill health. And I remember being in those 2 years just kind of always thinking to myself, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why do I feel this way? And yeah, it's really hard when you're in like the dark to see the light. Like it feels like you're in a never-ending tunnel, and you're just kind of plodding along with nowhere to go, just aimlessly going through each and every day. But kind of from that, like it's probably the one experience that's given me the strength that I have now to do what I do now. And it's a weird change. It's a weird shift, because if that hadn't have happened and I hadn't gone through those experiences, I don't think I would have been able to relate to the people that are sitting here today. I don't think I'd be relating to these guys here. I wouldn't have kind of moved into the mental health space. And I think that in a weird way, and this is kind of, I guess, going into the philosophy side of things, but I feel like I've got an extra, it's going to sound weird, but I have something that no one else has, in the fact that I have her pushing me along every single day, and I get the opportunity to carry her with me in everything that I do. So there's, I forgot her name. I think Gina Chick spoke about this.
Oh, great podcast.
Yeah, and she spoke about this regarding losing her daughter, and it really resonated with me, is that as much as my auntie might be gone, every single person that I meet gets to also meet a piece of her. And I think that's where I carry through every single day. And that's who I think about when I'm showing up to particular events, or showing up to this conversation, or showing up to run clubs, or whatever it is. It's about, I actually have the opportunity to showcase the beautiful person that she was in who I am. So I think that would be that.
Yeah, beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Thanks for letting all of us in on that. That's yeah, obviously you've shared that with me before, but that's such a great takeaway to be able to embed that into who you are. As a result, everyone gets to like be a part of that today as well. So thank you, bro. I'll share, so an experience that changed my life, or the trajectory of my life. Two really come to mind, but I'll go with this one. So in 2020, our friendship group lost a really great mate. His name was Shane, and we've actually got a cricket match next week for him. And that'll be the 5th cricket match in a row that we do to in memory of him. And I think like it changed my life, because it was obviously like so tough to go through at the time, and seeing all of us mates like grieving, I guess. And it was like an interesting period to navigate too. But it changed the trajectory of my life, I think, because even up until like this year, I've had experiences where like I lean on something for support. I lean on, I don't know, like a higher power for support. And the person who I go to is Shano, because I remember one night where it would have been in year 5 or something, we were at the McAvoy's house and we were staying up till like 6 a.m. and me and Shane were just like, we stayed up all night, and it was our ploy to get to the bottom of the stairs. And I just remember him, like, we were just pissing ourselves laughing all night. And it just, whenever I'm going through a rough time, I come back to come back to that like smile and that childish laugh. And yeah, I think it's the reason that probably the reason that I've gone into wanting to help others, because I saw a lot of pain and felt a lot of pain at that time. And yeah, off the back of that, it's the reason why I do what I do, is to connect people and provide like environments that I think it started out just wanting to, connect people and have a space for people to come and talk. But yeah, it sort of led me down a different path now. I think it's evolved in wanting to connect people with their potential, because the philosophy that I've got from that is that life's short. And yeah, I guess to live like a similar thing, like live in memory. Like at all of my sessions now, I talk about the reason why I do what I do. And those three things are the opportunity that I have. I feel like I've got the greatest opportunity in the world right now with where we live. Like there's a lot happening in the world right now, and like the opportunity where we live to do what we do. There's not many people who get that opportunity. So that's like number one. Number two is in memory of friends who I've lost, and also people who, are doing it tough. That's number two. And then third is like in pursuit of my potential, like pursuing really what I'm put on this planet to do. And I think all of that has stemmed from like losing Shano. So, yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. And then, last topic to chat into, like this is just a conversation, and it's not like we're not up here preaching the good word or anything, but I guess maybe to plant a seed, but also really keen to hear like what was the catalyst for each of you to I guess dive into your growth as a person. What was the catalyst, or was there an experience that really like inspired you to bring the best out in yourself?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the catalyst for me was I heard someone speak. His name was Dr. Gihan Jayawira, and I interviewed him on a podcast. Never met him before, but someone had recommended him. And I remember having a chat with him and his perspective on life. And he's like this Sri Lankan dude who loves his like basketball, but then he says he's 50% accountant and 50% monk. And like he's, really logical in some ways, and then sometimes he just needs to meditate for a few hours just to really balance himself out. And I remember resonating with him so much, and he was talking about like his philosophies and his view on happiness. And I think I met him at a point where I wasn't really happy. And he started talking about happiness is something we all chase, which is silly because it can't be caught. And that happiness, yes, it's a feeling, but we can't control feelings. But what we can control is action. So he's like, instead of trying to chase happiness, why don't we just do it instead? And I remember him saying that, and I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah, true. One of those light bulb moments.
I the rest of the podcast, I think I just stared at him, just mouth open, didn't hear a single word he said. And And from that, it melted my brain. And I organized a phone call with him a couple of weeks later. And I was like, I think I want to work with you. Like, I think like you've got something that would really help me. And we had a chat for a good 2 hours. And he's like, okay, look, he's like, psychology and counseling and these types of things, they want to look into your past and figure out why, where, what, how. It's like they want to know where the arrow was shot and, why it was shot, who shot it, how was it shot. He's like, why don't we just take the arrow out? And I was like, fuck yeah. So that was kind of the catalyst for me to dive into my growth. And I spent 2 years working with him every Monday morning. We'd catch up and just chat through what was how I wanted to grow as a person and what I was going to do that. And he was the reason that I did the run last year. He's the reason that I said yes to when Crawf asked me for some help, which sounds silly, that he would ask me. And but he was the person I would go to talk about this stuff, for him to instill belief or help kind of bring out the belief that was inside of me. And he cultivated that. But that was the moment that I was like, I actually have a lot more potential than I give myself credit for. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, bro. Would you mind if I shared just a piece of our conversation from the car the other day?
I don't know what I said.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were having this conversation and it was just about wanting to get to the bottom of things now and wanting to get to who shot the arrow and get to the root cause of some of these things. So, what's your mindset on that? What's the inspiration for maybe wanting to get to the bottom of?
Yeah, I think 2 years ago, when I was in a sticky situation, I don't think I was ready to dive into why. But I really just wanted to get out. I wanted to get myself back out there doing the things that I love to do.
This is when you're in a pretty heavy place of depression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I don't think at that moment, looking at who shot the arrow and why they shot it and would have been helpful for me at that time. The conversation we were having in the car was me talking about kids and do I want kids? And this question of, I don't feel like I'm ready for kids because I haven't figured out my own stuff from childhood. And now I feel like I'm ready to go back. And so now sounds like I've ended a relationship, but Dr. G and I aren't working together, and now I've gone back into, and I had my first session last week into seeing a psychologist.
Yeah, right.
To go back, because I feel like now that's what my body and my mind is telling me that I'm ready for.
Yeah.
And that I want to dive into, to see, why are some of these things, why these patterns occurring, and getting some context and sharing my experience and also validating that experience and diving into it and growing from it. And I feel like that's where I want to be now.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Yeah, no, the reason I bring that up, because when you were talking about it, I'm like, wow, it's courageous to, I've never gone and spoken to a psychologist or anything like that. So, yeah, I think it's courageous, and, yeah, I'm interested to hear how it goes, bro. It's just one of those really beautiful things to talk openly about, I think. So,
yeah.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Laff?
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up this guy because he talks so well and it's just so impressive. I was just sitting there just admiring everything he was saying and I'm like, oh shit, now I need to go. But he's just amazing. So yeah, thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. not happy. This thing doesn't like me. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm trying to delay because I feel like there isn't an exact moment that I can think of. I think upon reflection, end of footy season last year, I just was not enjoying footy. Now, footy was something that was a big part of my life. It was almost my identity. I feel like a lot of my friends could probably agree with that. And so the fact it wasn't serving me the way it used to, I knew something was changing in my life, but I, again, didn't really know what that looked like or what that meant. So I stood away from that, which ultimately meant that I stood away from a lot of people who I saw as my friends as well. And I got a lot of time on my own to really think about what it is I have to give. Now, like I said, there's no exact moment, but I think there was like little moments here and there that just were slowly building up to what it is I am creating now and who I am now. Like as simple as sitting down at Mornington Park with you as well. That was something that seemed so harmless, like something so small, but it contributed so much to I guess what I'm doing now. But I think from a deeper level, I think I've had moments of realizing that life is short and I have so much to give. It's just up to me how much I want to give, and I really want to try and live up to my full potential. I know I'm a good person. I know I can spread kindness. I know I can encourage that. I've always had visions of the world just being a happy, kind, loving place, and that's not.
Do you think it'll happen?
Nah, but it doesn't. There's no point trying to chase for that either. If I can maybe make those changes in my world and the people around me, I think that's where it's going to be more important. And that's why I want to give back to the community, and that's why I'm doing what I do. I really want to just spread so much kindness, positivity and love, and because everyone deserves to live life to be their happiest. And through my experiences with my mental health, I know what it's like to be at the worst. And so to be back up sort of at this level, it's like I want everyone else around me to be feeling this level of like, wow, life is so beautiful and I love the people in my life. And so it's just me trying to fulfill my potential as best I can. None of us will ever get there. We can try our best, but as long as we just, I guess, dive into ourselves, and I guess that's where my catalyst was. I guess it was more just like this untapped potential. I knew I had it in me. I know I'm a really kind person, a loving person. I want to see everyone else be happy and live a really prosperous life. And so it's like I just wanted to. I had to do it. I just had to do it, and so I did.
Yeah. What's like before we wrap up? What's getting in the way at the moment of that? Like, I mean, more so directed at like the journey in general. Like, what gets in your way, or what gets in our way in general of fulfilling that potential?
Two things: self-doubt and burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout, something I'm on the back end of, and I've got some really lovely friends who are here as well. And I just had to separate myself from everyone because I felt like I was giving so much to everyone all the time, and I was constantly going like this, and then I've really dropped really badly. And so I guess for me, it's just figuring out a balance of how much I can give to others, but also knowing I need to give myself love too. So that's something I've got to work out. But I think self-doubt, I think you'd find it'd be very rare that there's people that don't feel that, I feel. For others, it might be bigger, it might be smaller, but for me, I know self-doubt. It creeps in so much.
Like, what have you done then? Because I think, you were saying before, it's a bit of sometimes imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I've felt that as well before when you get up there to talk in front of people and you're sharing things about, your mental health journey and how to be the best version of yourself, all this stuff. It's like, well, sometimes that voice comes on your shoulder, like, who am I to share this with people? What was the question there? Yeah, the question is like, how have you this year gotten out of your own way? Because you've just like stepped in, continued to like step in and do and create and build. Like, what's...
Yeah, well, I was saying on the way in, I just keep throwing myself in the deep end. But I think it's about, I've got this perspective that I try and remove the word failure. I don't really like the word. I feel like you either succeed something or you learn. So no matter what I try, I can't fail if I give it a go. I think you only fail if you don't try at all. So for me, everything, just give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, if the result doesn't go the way you planned, potentially that will leave you, you know, better off next time you try, or, you know, there's always something you're going to learn or take away from it. And I think that's why I keep throwing myself in, because it's like, okay, what am I going to learn from this? What am I going to see? Like, just finished this challenge I did, and I've thrown myself in to say, hey, I'm going for a world record in March, and I'm epically burnt out, and I don't have the energy at the moment to train for this. It's like I'm 4 months away from trying to train for a world record that at the moment I'm just like, oh, but there's going to be learnings from it. And already I've figured out that, hey, I'm going to burn out if I keep going the way I'm going. I need to learn how to take myself back in and show myself some love and rest and nurture myself as well. So I think it's just about having a go and just seeing what happens. Like I said, I think it's really important to know that there's no such thing as failing. It's just you're going to try, and you're going to either succeed or you're going to learn. So
Thanks,
I think that's
I'll
what
take that on board.
Yeah.
I'll take that on board with this.
Yeah. So that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that wraps us up, gentlemen.
What about you?
No, I'm done.
What does it mean for you to do something like this today with everyone here? How are you feeling?
Yeah. I've had a good opportunity the last couple of days to reflect on it, and I feel stoked. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I feel stoked. I feel really supported. I think I mentioned this to you, Connor, and probably a few people, but yeah, this for me, something that really helped, I think I picked up on it about a couple of months ago, as I was putting such importance on this, as though like this is the only thing in the world that matters, and like it's just not like at all. So even doing this, like, yeah, it's out of my comfort zone to sit in front of you all and talk, but yeah, I guess I'm removing the importance of what base camp is in my life and holding like two truths at the same time, in that I also feel that it will be one of the most important things that I do. So like, how can those two truths possibly coexist? But yeah, I think it's just removing the identity that I have of like maybe this person who's creating this thing, and not needing to be seen as that guy. So yeah, it's just like, I am who I am. I'm just a normal Aussie dude. And I think I've got my friends, my family who really ground me in that. So I'm feeling stoked, and I'm keen to see where it goes. But yeah, I've learnt a lot this year. I lost my license for a few months, which was a hell journey, but that really instilled a life philosophy of just going on an adventure and taking each day as it comes. So I think that's sort of my plan with this, is just get to the start line, just do it, taking what you said, just like putting myself in the arena and seeing what happens. But yeah, I know it'll be really beautiful, and I know it'll help a lot of people too. So that's the main reason I do it.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so much for your energy, for your time, for being up here, for sharing this conversation. It's been an absolute honour.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Much love.
Love you.
Love you.
Give us something.
Oh, no, I'm just awkwardly sitting in front of
Beautiful.
you. Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, it's been the same.
This is where we turn it to the audience and we see if you've got anything to add. Any words of wisdom?
Wherever it lands.
Yeah,
Throw it.
wherever it lands, just throw it. Deal.
Oh,
Quote last night that I said to you.
How late in the night was it? Because I don't remember.
Actually, you don't remember anything from last night. Sorry.
Yeah,
Can't win.
Way too much to
Can't win if you don't start, and you can't lose if you don't quit.
Yeah, because I took a photo of it, and I was wondering why that was still there this morning. Can't win if you don't start. Can't lose if you don't quit.
Yep.
Can't win if you don't start, and you can't lose if you don't quit. So it sort of stems off what we were talking about, or what I was just talking about then, about having a go. I feel like the only way you can't win is if you don't try. Otherwise, you're going to learn something or you're going to succeed, which I think is huge. Is this actually working?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I can't even hear it. But yeah, it's a great quote. I love it. Yeah. I think that's something you wrote down on a board of mine. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. It's a great one. Yeah.
What did you have to say, Mike? Breno? Tico?
It doesn't have to be deep.
Just listening to all you guys, I sort of got to start to question myself as to what I've been doing for 40 years. I really have very little self-reflection. Just a confession, that's all.
That's so funny.
What I love to see is my godson and my nephew being a beautiful, bright light. And one of the things I think in this that's really powerful is the value of community, because I do work as a counsellor, so if anyone needs to come, joking. It's not that scary, by the way, but one of the things I notice is that there's so many people who come to see me and they're always struggling because they're suffering with something in their life like grief or a struggle any human would have, but they're also lonely. And it's that separateness mixed in with whatever's happening that really makes the struggle worse. So when I'm listening to what you're doing, I'm really impressed, and I'm sorry I don't know your name, the guy on the end.
Matt. My name's Matt.
Matt, who's doing this at Common Folk.
Yep.
That is a beautiful and revolutionary way to think of looking after people, and I think that's just so life-filled and so inspiring, and I love it.
There's some statistics that came out recently surrounding mental health, and a lot of support services are on the way down, but the one thing that's actually increasing is people are leaning on community and these gatherings. So back on what you're saying, I think community is huge. I think a lot of the time when our mental health is quite poor, we feel quite lonely. We think our struggles are our own struggles, and I think we fail to realise that a lot of people have shit going on, and there are people to lean on, and I think community is huge because it gives people a sense of belonging, a sense of potentially purpose, and just makes them feel seen and heard and felt and loved. So it's huge. So thank you very much for that.
Not much advice, but just a deep, sincere thank you for the three of you, but Sam, to touch on the community aspect, is what you have created and are creating is truly phenomenal. And I think Hayley can speak to this as well. We wouldn't have met without the community that you create. So it's just you are creating impact, you're creating change, you're creating all these beautiful things. So thank you.
Righto, get out of here. Oh, all right. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Is this on? Yeah.
Now, are you going to sing a song for us?
Yeah, I thought so. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, I wanted to talk just a little bit about base camp. what it is. And I think also, just I've spoken into it, but like the reason why I do it. And so I want to talk more so about like where it's headed and the future with it. But 100%, like community is, I think, such a powerful thing. Such a powerful thing. And when we can be surrounded by other people who are on a similar journey to us, they want to see us succeed, like we've spoken about with our friends. Like this is what changes the world. And I think you said it as well, Laff, like, you're not here to change the world, but maybe just through, I don't know, sharing a conversation like today and being the change, then that can ripple out into our world. So Base Camp, it's something that, I've been creating for 6 months now. And the idea behind it is that it's a centre point or a home base for people who are on a journey to probably do a little bit about what we've been talking into today, like step into themselves. Do a little bit of self-reflection, Dad. And but no, like I think, the topics of like climate change and war and everything that's happening in the world, like where does that stem from? And I'm not here to solve the problems of the world. I'm just here to solve my own problems and live life to the best that I can, and share that with people. But it's a home base, a centre point for people who are on a journey to find out more about their potential and themselves. And just do that in like a fun way, like an accessible way. I think I'm a regular Aussie dude. Definitely not like any guru or anything like that. But through sharing something like today and sharing openly and vulnerably, maybe it'll plant the seed in some of you guys, just to come on that journey too. And not to say that you guys have to come and be a part of Base Camp or anything, but I think this disconnection that the world has with themselves is creating pain in the world. So, like what this will be people gathering down on the beach to do breath work, which I've been doing for 4 months now. Had a beautiful session here today, and when people just stop for a moment and like connect to themselves, like in a moment of self-inquiry, all that's doing is just like check in with yourself. Where am I at right now? And so that's all this really is providing, is a space for people to do that. And I think the world will be a very beautiful place, like it already is, but it will be a beautiful place. There's a massive shift that I feel that's happened over the last 4 years, like since I started doing these breathwork sessions down at the beach, like so many more people are open to these conversations. I don't think there would have been these conversations happening 4 years ago. So it's really cool to see and to be a part of. And I know that, like, here's a story, just for example. I went to this retreat a few months ago. And, it's sort of like, it's whack. The spaces that I've been into, this regular Aussie bloke who's gone into these spaces of people doing meditation and yoga and breath work, it's like, at the start was actually quite like confronting for me. It's like, that's a bit out of my league or out of my comfort zone. It's like, what's this woo-woo stuff? And then like I just continued to go in and do it, and I became a breathwork coach, and what I've seen is someone like me and other men like me who come into these spaces, and it's real awkward at the start because it's just you chatting like men do, and it's like, yeah, what's going on? But I've seen like grown men come into these spaces really awkwardly, and over a few days drop the walls, like drop this mask that I know I have too, and I put up a mask. But these men come into these spaces and have an opportunity just to like tap out of what's happening in the everyday world and actually like listen to what's underneath the surface. And you see grown men in each other's arms, like crying. And that for me was mind-blowing. But then hearing the story, like there was these two in particular, both breathwork coaches have been in the deep end doing these breathwork experiences for a few days. And this person had lost his mate as well. And so I connected really deeply with that. And it was two grown men holding each other, like crying. I've never seen that in my whole life. And it's just like, yeah, behind the mask, behind the facade, there is this like real depth. There's real healing that happens there. So as like confronting and hard as it is for a regular Aussie bloke to now hold those spaces and see real healing happen with people. I've seen women like let down their walls in front of a man that maybe they hadn't been able to do for years. So yeah, like this we're going to start base camp like on the light end, so that it I guess is fun and is accessible to people, to create a bridge for maybe people like me who are regular Aussie blokes and like do want to dive in. But then also lead into the deep end, into stuff that's like confronting and hard to get into. But it's so necessary and so worthwhile when you do. So lastly, we're going to wrap that all up. But again, thank you all so much for being here today. It's like this would be one of my best days of the year for sure. Something that I've wanted to do for a while. So thank you all so much for being here, sharing it with me. And honestly, as I said at the start, there wouldn't be too many friends like I have here today. So love you all so much.